Good afternoon. I welcome you to my channel, You War Now. I will tell you in an accessible and simple language about the events in Ukraine. My name is Bodan, and here we go. Let's start with the enemy's losses. Throughout the conflict, the enemy has lost approximately 465,000 soldiers, 7,268 tanks, and over 11,900 artillery systems. Additionally, Ukrainian forces have contributed approximately 1,124 soldiers, 6 tanks, and 38 artillery systems to these figures. Ukrainian military personnel have achieved results both within and outside Ukraine. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims to have shot down 66 drones over the Krasnodar Krai. Video. A fire broke out at the Ilsk oil refinery as a result of a drone attack. Video. An explosion occurred at an oil refinery in Sloviansk-na-Kubani. Video. Explosions were reported at the oil refinery in Sloviansk-na-Kubani, Krasnodar Krai. Suicide drones damaged the storage facility for control and correction modules for aviation bombs at a military airfield in the village of Kushchevskaya, Krasnodar Krai. As a result of drone attacks, the main technological block at the Ilsk oil refinery in Sloviansk-na-Kubani and the aerodrome in the village of Kushchevskaya were damaged. During the attack by Ukrainian drones on the oil refinery in Krasnodar Krai, the rectification column was damaged, according to the head of the Sloviansk district of the region. Let's move to the front line. Let's start with the Bahmut sector, specifically Chasiv Yar. Chasiv Yar is holding, but the enemy continues to creep towards the settlement. The enemy has had minor successes south of Chasiv Yar, particularly in the village of Ivanivsky. This village is crucial for Ukraine and Chasiv Yar because if Russia seizes it, it would provide a significant foothold for advancing towards Chasiv Yar. Ukrainian forces would be pushed back into the forest near the village. Now, onto the Avdiivka sector. The situation here is grim. The enemy has fully occupied the villages of Ocheretyno, Solovyova, Bahmut, Semenivka, and Berdichi. Russia has deployed its largest forces here and is attempting to break through further, which it is succeeding in. The situation in Ocheretyno has become critical for Ukrainian forces as Russian troops manage to break through the defense, threatening the Pokrovsk direction. According to experts' analysis, various military groups and analysts have different perspectives on who is responsible for this defense collapse. Ukrainian command. According to some sources, the Ukrainian command may be partially responsible for the defense collapse. Some analysts point to organizational and coordination flaws among military units, as well as underestimation of the threat or inadequate preparation of the brigade defending Ocheretyno. 115th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Some sources identify a specific unit, the 115th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, as responsible for the defense collapse in Ocheretyno. According to analysis, this brigade may be accountable for underestimating the situation, inadequate preparation, or improper resource allocation. On-site factors. Other sources highlight specific on-site factors, such as the strategic location of Ocheretyno, the absence of water barriers, and a direct road to Pokrovsk, which made it an easy target for Russian forces. They emphasize the need for improving defensive strategies and consider the possibility of tactical changes and reinforcement of defenses in this area. Russian aggression. Finally, some experts underscore that the main reason for the defense collapse in Ocheretyno is active Russian aggression and the massive use of forces and resources to breach defensive lines. They emphasize the need for supporting Ukrainian forces and developing resistance strategies. Overall, the situation in Ocheretyno reflects the complexity of the conflict in eastern Ukraine, and responsibility for the defense collapse may be divided among various factors and parties to the conflict. Moving on to the Kupiansk direction, the enemy has succeeded in the village of Kislivka. Brigades defending there report the enemy has broken through the defense in Kislivka. Today, at 10 a.m., the Russians initiated massive counterattacks in Kislivka. By the end of the day, they entrenched themselves in the settlement. The target of the attack was the troops unit, which is limited in strength and resources. It's regrettable for the guys to lose positions, but without heavy weaponry support, the situation could significantly worsen. If Ocheretyno wasn't a lesson for the tactical operational unit, tactical defense unit, operational strategic unit, then no amount of media exposure will force the leadership to do something. A year ago, when the front collapsed near Novoyegorivka, Syrskyi personally arrived and supervised the restoration. Syrskyi is currently the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine. He replaced Zaluzhny. The situation in Novomykhailivka is indeed serious. After the enemy occupied Novomykhailivka, they are now preparing a foothold for offensive actions towards Konstantinivka. As far as we know, the situation remains unchanged in other areas of the front.